Hi guys, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at a knife from Harnds. This is the Harnds Disguiser. Harnds sent me this knife a couple of months ago already, and thank you so much for that, Harnds. And I really have been looking forward to reviewing this. I got busy with a bunch of other things, and to be honest with you, I set it aside partly because I haven't been able to find it in any stores yet. The same thing was true of the Harnds Thor that they sent me, which was a nice big fixed blade. And after I contacted GearBest and they looked at it, they decided to carry it, and they have it now. So I don't have a price for you. I haven't been able to find a good Canadian source for this knife. Not Canadian, a good source for North Americans to be able to go and buy it. If you like big knives, big folders, this is a knife you're going to want to take a good look at. So if you're interested at all in the Harnds Disguiser, stick around. We'll do a tabletop full review of this beastie knife. As you can clearly see, this is a knife with camouflage G10 on it. Hence the name Disguiser, because this thing will be disguised. First thing that we notice of this knife is that it's, camouflage, black wash, non-reflective kind of looking knife. It's, disguised. It's designed to, stay hidden from view. If you want a folder for outdoors, this is a good choice. What do we have? Let's start off with some details on this knife. Let me get a little pointer out here. There we go. We've got 9CR18 MOV steel, and that's a very good Chinese steel. It's quite a bit better than the 8CR13 MOV kind of stuff. It's more like a 440C steel. It's a good entry-level steel, a very good entry-level steel, I should say, probably. We've got a heavy steel. We've got 3.6 millimeters, which is 0.14 inches, a little bit bigger than 1/8 of an inch. Big chunky piece of steel. We've got a blade edge that is 3.58 inches if you measure from this point straight across to this point. So it's actually a little bit more with the belly counted. That's 9.2 centimeters. The knife, when it's open, it's 8.5 inches long, 21.8 centimeters, a little over 8.5 inches, just barely, 21.8 centimeters. And the handle itself is 12 centimeters, which is right around 4 3/4 of an inch. We got a handle thickness of just over 12 millimeters, which is 1.2 centimeters, which is, just under half an inch, 0.48. We have a weight to it that is 6.4 ounces. That's a heavy knife, 182 grams. Okay, that's it for the specs. Let's look at some of these details. What do we got? We've got a nice hollow grind coming along. Oh, here's another little spec. Almost 2 centimeters from the cutting edge to the end of the hollow grind, where it comes up on the blade, 1.8 centimeters, 3/4 of an inch, which is a good amount of steel for the grind to come down to a decent point. I've had some Russian viewers tell me that for them, the thickness of the steel just before the final grind is important to them. I measured it. It's 0.029 inches, which is 0.74 millimeters. That means this is a chunky, heavy piece of steel behind here. It's not a light, delicate cutter. It's a bigger, stronger kind of steel. It's not going to wear very easily. It's going to take an awful lot of force before you end up harming this steel behind the edge. We've got a drop point with a nice swedge on it there that you can sort of see there. This black wash makes it a little bit, when the light's just right, you can see it, but so you can see that swedge line right there. Drop point. We've got a riser with some really fine jimping in here. It looks more aggressive than it actually is. It's not too aggressive in the hand at all. We've got nice good sized thumb studs there. a big flat area, so if you've got a clamp-on system for sharpening, you'll have lots of real estate to clamp onto that thing to get it sharp. We've got the thumb stud where it's closed. It's in a good enough place, makes it really easy to open the knife. Completely manual, not assisted in any way other than by your own power in your thumb. And I don't know what the steel is that's on this frame, but let's talk about this frame lock. Take a look at this. Do you recognize this frame lock at all? Just take a good look at it. Hold on for just a minute. Hold this thought. There you go. Have you seen that frame lock before? I've got the camera on an angle, so this looks a fair bit smaller than this, but in reality, they're really the same size. It's just sort of an illusion. See the similarities? This is a Ganzo here, and what we've got is we've got wire EDM technology that cut out this frame lock, which leaves this really fine little cut in here. You've got the same thing right here with this knife here by Harnds. A nice, really fine cut. Why do I mention this with this Ganzo? Well, it's because wire EDM technology is two things: expensive and slow. But these low-cost knives are coming in with wire EDM technology and coming in at a really good price. It's just so hard to believe, and I say kudos to you Chinese vendors for making these things. We've got an over travel stop that they've put in right here so you can't pull the Framelock arm open too far. Lockup is just what I like to see on a brand new knife. Since this is all dark, it's hard to see. There we go. There's an angle that's good. The right side of this Framelock arm meets up right about the dead center of the blade itself. Lockup is rock solid. I'm not going to do the spine whack test here on video, but I did it. It's a very strong lockup, no problem there. What else do we have about this knife? We've got a pocket clip that is actually set in, so they milled into this side panel, and then they set in the pocket clip so that when you look at it, let me close this knife. So when you're looking at it from the top like this, you can see that your pants will come all the way up right to the bottom of that and fit in smoothly really well and not hang up on some screws. And let's take a look at how that's going to look in your pocket. So in your pocket, if this white piece of paper is the front of your pocket, you're going to have a bit of knife sticking out. But thankfully it's black wash and it's not super reflective, so you don't have an awful lot showing off. What I'm finding is that if your knife isn't super deep seated, it's easier to pull out of your pocket. 9 times out of 10, not always. There's a lot of times when you do want an ultra deep pocket clip, and there's great times for that. This tip-up clip works really well, and when it sits in the pocket, it's easy to grab the end of the knife and pull it out of your pocket, and you're off and running. These bigger, heavier knives, if they sit really, really deep, they're harder to grab. So you have to do sort of a compromise when you've got a knife that is big and heavy. A big and heavy knife tends to need some more of the knife sticking out of the pocket if you also want convenience of getting it out. Okay, so there's the knife. How about some cutting tests? Well, this knife did not come too sharp from the factory. Do you hear that? You've got little spots where it's sort of doing a tear instead of a cut. This is after my testing, mind you. So it's okay. But like I said, this is after my testing. I've had this knife for a couple months. I've done nothing to the edge. It's, very clean open pillar construction, very easy to clean. You don't even have like G10 with a liner on this side. It's just your G10 completely. I didn't even mention that. This open pillar construction's great. What else do I like about this knife? It feels good in the hand, very comfortable. I've got a large size hand. I think an extra large hand is going to fit this knife really well. I think somebody with a medium size hand has a good chance of liking this knife as well. Somebody with a small size hand, probably not so much. The pocket clip, I like how the pocket clip isn't oversized. I like the tension on the pocket clip. I like how it slides in and out of the pocket really well. I mentioned earlier the jimping here. I like the fit and finish of it. It's done really well. I didn't mention yet, blade centering is really good on this knife, straight from the factory. I didn't have to change a thing. But what do I not like? Well, I'm very happy that the blade centering is perfect from the factory, because it's got proprietary technology for the pivot screws. For a lot of guys, that's a really, really big deal. I've got some spanner tools that I can do some adjustment to there if I need to, but it's not comfortable and it's a bit risky because I don't have the perfect size tool and everything. What's the other thing that I don't really like about this knife other than the proprietary pivot? The weight is a little bit heavy. It's a little more than most guys want to carry. Me personally, I really don't mind. I don't mind carrying 5-6 ounces in my pocket, in my hand, no problem at all. This is at the sort of limits of what I like to carry, although I've been known to carry 8-ounce knives, a folder, the Harnds, another Harnds knife, the Harnds Blazer. I'll show you that knife in case you haven't seen it. As you can see, Harnds is known for big knives. That's a big knife. This thing's close to a little over 8 ounces, 8.1 or something, big, heavy half-pound knife. So Harnds is known for big knives. I really don't mind them that much. I like having some huge, big knives, big folders. So there you go. Good knife, couple little negatives. The biggest one being the proprietary screws. If you like this video, please click on like. Please share with your friends. Please comment. Tell me what you liked about this video, what you didn't like about the video, or what you liked about the knife or didn't like about the knife. You can click on like for the video even if you don't like the knife. The like is for the quality of the video, not necessarily the product that's being reviewed. Thank you for watching. Remember, guys, always cut towards your chum and not your thumb.